Welcome to Busy Bee Woodworking. Today we are going to make an improvement to my kid's scooter. I don't know if you remember from back in PE class in elementary school, but we use these for like crab soccer and different things like that. My sister and brother-in-law were nice enough to pick one up for my kids last year, and we had a blast with it, scooting around the driveway. But let's just say their 240-pound dad wanted to relive his childhood, and that plastic didn't hold up too long, so we're going to beef it up here with 3/4-inch plywood from my scrap pile. So what I did was I laid the scooter down so I could trace the dimensions. You don't need to do that. You can make it any dimension that you would like. I had a nice little template here, so I figured I was going to use it. Now that we had the template traced out onto the plywood sheet, I went over to my bandsaw. Now if you don't have a bandsaw, you could actually do all these cuts with a jigsaw, and that would work just fine. But as you can see in the background, I have a couple of kids waiting anxiously for this to be completed, so I went ahead and jumped on over to the bandsaw. That being said, this project took me about 20 to 30 minutes, so it's not too long of a project, and it's a good, step into woodworking. Now with the outer cuts complete, I wanted to come right back over to my oscillating sander and give it a really nice smooth edge. This is going to be having little hands all around it, so I don't want any chance of splinters or anything like that happen. So make sure you take your time and really make sure that the edges are all smooth. Now that the sanding is complete, I just came back with a hand sand to about a 500 grit to really make sure it was nice and smooth. And then I went ahead and rounded over the edges with my trim bit router here. If you don't have a router, just use a sander and you can round over the edges that way. But this makes it a much quicker process. Now with the outer edge all complete, we can turn our attention to the inside. So what we do is we come in with a drill to drill a hole so we can get our jigsaw blade in there, and we can now cut out the space for the handles. Now these handles are pretty tight, so to sand them, you're not going to be able to really use a power sand or anything like that. I used a Sharpie and wrapped a 80 grit sandpaper to really go at the edges, and then I came back all the way down to a 220, and that seemed to work pretty well. Once that was complete, we just come back with our trim bit router and round over those edges as well. Now if you saw in the beginning, I took the drill straight through the plastic to tap out where these casters are going to actually be put on. So I had to come back here and just drill just a little bit farther so the screw would be able to go in. But they go in pretty easy. Just don't use a power drill or anything like that on there. Hand screw these in so you don't strip it. There you have it. Nice improved scooter. I will say it does hold dad weight, but I think it might be a little bit better for the little ones to try out. What do you think? Oh yeah, and it does come in handy for that scrap bin. Well, looks like we got two happy campers. As always, thanks for buzzing by, checking out this video. Please like and subscribe. Now go make some dust.